Open access journals cut corners on quality, right? Right? If you listen to social media, this seems to be a very common accusation that you can find, comparing open access to fake news, or even alluding to the fact that even in reputable open access journals, peer review is merely a facade. I think actually the better question is, can open access afford to cut corners on quality? Given that by definition, we publish everything openly, open for all to see, open to everybody's scrutiny, open for full accountability, can we afford to cut corners? Given that every single mistake we make, every slip-up is out there in the open for the world to see, can we afford to cut corners on quality? Quality must be at the center of every action and every decision that we make. Of course, we are going to make mistakes, we are going to slip up, but we need to respond faster, we need to work harder, and we need to be better. Why is quality so important? Because without quality, we do not have trust. And if society loses trust in science, society will not be able to take the right decisions moving forward. And there's never been a more important time in human history for society, as Camilla mentioned, to take the right decisions. Without quality, without trust, collectively, we have nothing. And this responsibility, this challenge, has been made even more difficult in the last couple of years, as we've seen across the entire publishing industry, a huge increase in bad actors using very sophisticated means to subvert the peer review process, to subvert the published record. We are seeing increases in fake peer review, people manipulating the peer review process. We are seeing increases in manufactured articles, termed paper mill submissions. We are seeing manipulations of the images in these articles. We are seeing manipulations of the authorship list, fake authors, whether it be for profitability or credibility. And when you're operating under the spotlight of scrutiny and you have these possible pitfalls hiding in the dark, it can be incredibly scary. It can almost feel like we're tightrope walking out in the open, at least in my mind, with all the world watching us, with no safety net. And in the last couple of years, some people have even released some ravenous alligators in the ravine below, and they're hungry. And it can be scary because our mission is so critical. And just as it's important for a tightrope walker, balance is essential. We can overreact. We can throw out everything. We can reject. But in order to transform society, valid research needs to be published as quickly as possible. We need to ensure that we can take the right decision on the right article. That is essential for the quality. What I want to show you in the next 15 minutes is basically how we've responded to these challenges, how these challenges have actually made us stronger. It's pushed us to invest in our forensic investigation unit, our research integrity department. It's pushed us to invest in the technology that we use to support peer review and uphold our quality standards. What I want to achieve in the next 15 minutes is to make you feel grounded, to make you put your feet directly on terra firma and feel supported. Because at the end of the day, that is my primary directive. That is my daily mission. That is the mission of the 400 people in the peer review and publishing operations teams. To support you, to support our editors, to support our reviewers, to support our authors, to get you all, to get us all collectively safely across that tightrope. And what is our approach? Quality by design at every stage of the process. In order to respond to the threat of these increasing low-quality submissions, the small percentage of peer review fraud that we are seeing, and operating underneath the spotlight of scrutiny, we've had to develop a dedicated peer review team who have informed our artificial intelligence review assistant, who work together collaboratively to support one of the largest and strongest editorial boards in publishing. And this is how we ensure scientific excellence at scale. Our first part of the puzzle is our wonderful peer review team. My team of 400 dedicated experts who are there to basically be your detectives and guardians during the peer review process. They're there to ensure that all our authors, reviewers, and editors are supported and are held accountable to our journal policies and standards. The first line of defense within that team is our research integrity team. They have a very simple mission: detect and reject low-quality submissions. What is a low-quality submission? Very simply, it's articles that do not meet the Frontiers editorial standards. It can also be articles with absolutely no scientific value. And then on the far side of the spectrum, it's those malicious actors, those fraudulent papers that pose an existential threat to our journals. Going back in time to 2015, this task actually fell almost exclusively on the shoulders of our very capable editorial boards. We were operating in a very different way back then. We were maybe taking around 1,000 decisions every single month across 50 titles. Most of these submissions were also coming either from our editorial boards or their close personal networks. It was an incredibly manageable solution. And you can also see, given the high quality of submissions we were getting, the rejection rate was also relatively quite low. It was only at 18%. But we knew Frontiers was going to grow. More and more people were going to be submitting to our journals, and we needed to provide more support to our editors. So May 1st, 2016, I was there. We launched our research integrity team. And they were initially tasked with really supporting editors from the worst of the worst. And at the launching of this department, they were rejecting around 19%. They were taking about 19% of the rejection burden off the shoulders of editors. And these were low-quality articles that were not going to land on the desk of our editors and burden them. Obviously, though, we had to do better. We needed to provide more support as we could see that we were on this trajectory of growth. Skip forward 2 years, 2018. We've now tripled in size in terms of the volume of articles coming to our journals as our journals slowly become leaders within their field. And you can see enormously over the last 2 years, we went from 19% of the rejection burden to 43% of the rejection burden. We're now protecting our editors from 43% of the rejections that they were going to have to process and really providing substantial support. We were almost equal partners now with our editorial boards. And what enabled this massive scaling up in 2 years? 2018 was the year that we released IRA. This was an industry first in that we built artificial intelligence directly within the review process to guide our decision-making, to enable us that we could scale up our decisions and the different quality indicators that we can look at either on our article, author, or peer review process. This enabled not only our teams to scale up, but also to do things that were beyond their means, beyond their capabilities. And as Daniel mentioned, this wasn't about building a self-driving car. This was about enhancing human capability to ensure quality. And we have not let up for a second. Going forward in the next 4 years, from 2018 to 2022, we were now deciding on around 20,000 articles every single month. If you compare this to the 1,000 articles we're deciding in 2015, this was huge growth. Many of our Frontiers journals, thanks to you, were now leaders in their field. And more people wanted to submit to our journals. And obviously, with more and more people, we are going to attract a lot more low-quality submissions. And we knew we had to provide more and more support. And in 2022, we became equal partners with our editorial boards in protecting them and upholding the integrity of our published articles. And again, we are never going to let up. Moving forward to 2023, we have already rejected 23,000 articles this year that were of low quality or substantial quality. This is a burden that has been completely removed from the shoulders of our editorial boards. And we are now taking on the lion's share so that our editors can really focus on the articles that have value, that are worthy of their time. Now, what does this actually look like in practice? Well, I don't know if many of you have had this dream of being a research integrity specialist, but this is going to be an opportunity. We're actually going to look at some papers, we're going to look at some elements of articles, and collectively we're going to decide what we want to do with these papers, and we're going to see how the team works. Are you guys ready? All right, let's do this, guys. Okay, paper number 1 comes across your desk. You just had your first coffee for the day. You're ready to get to it. Frontiers in Immunology. You look at the abstract. There seems to be a very clear study question there. You're looking at the methods. So they're looking at samples obtained from patients, and they're looking at a mouse model. You look at the graphs. They look all right. You're looking at the Western blots. Not bad, right? Who wants to send this to peer review? Who feels this is safe enough to send to peer review? Yeah? We've got a couple of people into, yeah? Yeah? Okay, it's about, I'd say 20%. Oof, okay. Who wants to reject outright? Okay, and a lot of people are very undecided because, yeah, it's a very difficult problem, guys. It's not easy in 5 seconds to take a decision on the fate of a paper. So, to the second group that felt a little bit of tingle on the back of the neck, that sensed some danger, well done. You're a research integrity natural. You don't even need IRA to help you out. You can spot the problem. So this, in fact, was a manufactured article. Because for those of you who want to send it to peer review, don't be disheartened. This article did go into peer review. This article was assigned to an editor. It was assigned to 2 reviewers, leaders within their field. Collectively, they published around 450 publications within immunology. And they worked actively with these authors to improve this article. They did not pick up that this was a paper mill submission. Only when it got to final validation, that we did our triple checks before we actually accept the article, that we spotted these indicators and we took the decision to reject this article. What I really want to highlight to you guys is that this is a hard problem. It's not easy. And it's not something that we're going to solve overnight. It's going to require constant collaboration between us and you to stay ahead of the curve, because these people are also becoming more and more sophisticated in their approaches. All right. I think I threw everybody in the deep end there. I apologize. I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to make it a little bit easier. I'm actually even going to show you what Ira is already picking up. We're just looking at a single image, middle of the day, Frontiers in Neuroscience. Is picking up some duplication. What do you think? Alarm bells are going off. You want to reject? Who wants to reject? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, all right. Yeah, okay. Who wants to, Milena, hold on. Who wants to send it to peer review? Okay, I think the rejects have it out. We're going to reject this paper. So, in fact, Ira did pick up that there was image manipulation here because there was some duplication. However, it was intentional, and it was fine, and we could send it based on this image into peer review. And this is why, again, Ira isn't intended to be a self-driving car. It's a collaborative tool to augment our decision-making capabilities. But we always want a human to step in and take that decision to assess, is this a true rejection, or should this article be given a chance? All right. Guys, it's almost the end of the day. You're about to log off. Final paper for you to assess, final image for you to assess. I think you guys have the hang of it. I'm not going to show you what Ira is picking up. Look at this image. Anybody getting nervous? Anything suspicious there? Who wants to reject? Okay, people are seeing things, all right. Who wants to send this to peer review? I think it's about 50-50. All right, I'm going to help you out. Ira has picked up something. Anybody want to change their mind? Yeah? All right, so in this case, the authors made our job a little bit difficult. What they had done was rotated their panels 180 degrees, so therefore a human looking at the article directly, it would be very, very challenging to actually see that there was some kind of image manipulation. But again, this highlights how Ira has augmented our capabilities to spot fraud and quality issues at scale. And moving beyond the article and looking at the actual peer review process itself, Ira has been incredibly instrumental for us to actually pick up peer review fraud. It's allowed us to look at network anomalies that are occurring behind the scenes so that we can actually assess if the editors, reviewers, and authors are who they say they are. And this has actually enabled us to reject hundreds of articles for peer review fraud. And as I mentioned earlier, Ira was incredibly groundbreaking for our internal teams. And obviously, we wanted to share this tool with our editorial boards more extensively. And in September last year, in 2022, we fully opened up Ira to interact with our editors. This meant that fun little experiment that we just did 5 minutes ago, you can now do in the comfort of your own home as an editor at Frontiers. You can go into an indicator. Ira will say, look, this is a warning. Look at it. Take a decision. You can assess what Ira is picking up. You can take a decision. And you can then inform our team so that now these 3 pillars are working cohesively together. We have Ira, we have our teams, we have View the Editor working as a combined unit to ensure quality at scale. Of course, though, this isn't a victory lap. You know, we're not popping the champagne and saying, you know, mission accomplished, guys, we have this under control. This is a hard problem. We're obviously very, very proud of how far we have come, but we haven't solved this problem. We are committed. This is our top priority this year, is to get even better in ensuring the quality of the articles that go into peer review and the quality of the articles that we publish. And we want to work with you as much as we can to ensure that we collaboratively find the solutions to safeguard the quality of our journals. But of course, quality isn't just about rejecting. Quality is about, again, taking the right decision on the right article. I seriously doubt that there's any scientist in this audience online that hasn't felt the sting of rejection, that hasn't felt the pain of falling into that rejection cascade and felt the impact that it has had on the momentum of their research. What is important for us as publishers, as Frontiers especially, is to ensure that all valid research gets published as quickly as possible so we can transform society as quickly as possible. And this is an area that we've been paying very specific attention to in the last couple of years. So during the period of 2021 and 2022, we rejected around 45% of our content, right? And now what we've been doing is actually tracking what happens to those articles once we reject them. And what we discovered is that 30% of those articles get published elsewhere. And what does 30% look like? That's 25,600 articles that were rejected by Frontiers and in the last 2 years have appeared in Springer Nature, Wiley, Elsevier. And if you look at the period of time, 2021, 2022, 1,000 of those 25,000 articles were related to COVID-19. At a time when the world was hungry for COVID research and needed that COVID research, we needed to be better in our decision-making abilities. Because whenever we rejected these articles potentially falsely, we delayed their publication by at least 6 months. And of course, maybe we got the decision right, maybe not. What is important for us is that we always second-guess ourselves, that we audit every single decision we make, whether it be to accept an article or reject an article. We always go back, look at that article, look at what led to that decision, and assess, did we take the right decision? Why not? What do we need to improve to ensure that we can take the right decision? And in doing this exercise last year, what we introduced was a lot more flexibility to what decisions an editor can actually take during the peer review process. This enabled us to really prevent the worst false negative rejections where an editor clearly wanted the article to go into peer review, but the process itself prevented them from taking the right decision. Because obviously, if an article can go through peer review at Frontiers, we really believe that this is a quality-enhancing process. And we really want to make sure that those articles can go through peer review. Because I may have painted that picture over the last couple of minutes. Peer review isn't a binary process. It's not accept, reject. Peer review at its heart, and the thing that I'm most passionate about, is a powerful engine to enhance and clarify the quality of all submitted articles. And we hope that by ensuring that only the best quality articles go into peer review, not overburdening our editors and giving them the tools to move those articles through peer review in a constructive and collaborative way, we can really enhance the quality of those articles. And this is, again, something we've been assessing. We first of all wanted to look at an industry benchmark, and this has been a fantastic resource, this global state of peer review that was published through a Publon survey in 2018. And where they surveyed people and asked them, what do you think about the quality of the review reports you're getting? And 55% of authors were satisfied with the quality of the review. 55%. It's a matter of chance almost that they're going to be satisfied with the value that peer review is bringing. We were very interested to see how we were comparing to that industry benchmark. And last month, we surveyed our authors. We asked them how satisfied were you with the quality of the review process and that it added value to your research. 95% of them were satisfied. This was very reassuring to us personally. But obviously, this isn't our success, though. We try our best to give you the tools. We try the best to ensure that the best quality is going to peer review. But this is the success of our editors and reviewers in actively collaborating and working with our authors in improving the quality of their research. And of course, if you're ensuring the quality of articles that go into peer review get maximized during the peer review process, you're going to end up publishing articles that readers love to read. And we've seen this number before in the previous presentations. 92% of our readership are satisfied with the quality of the articles that we're publishing. 92%. And again, I'm walking you through this. If we send good quality into peer review, they get maximized in the review process. The readers love to read those articles. If you read the article and you love it, you're going to cite it. And that's why Frontiers continues to stay at that position of the third most cited publisher in the world. You saw this incredible increase of submissions that we have received over the last couple of years. But we've been able to ensure that we can handle that increase of submissions through technology, through our teams, through our editorial boards, whilst maintaining the quality of the published record, and that is reflected in the citations that we're getting on these published articles. And beneath these data points, beneath all these metrics, there's obviously also very valuable and incredibly powerful feedback from our authors. I wanted to leave you with one of the quotes that we got from one of our surveyed authors. It was a rigorous but excellent experience to work with Frontiers. The comments I got during the review process will have a special impact on my future career as a researcher. This was from an article that was edited by Professor Enriquez Martins. If you're watching, thank you very much, Professor Enriquez Martins. Personally, I can read this quote every single day. This is what we need to achieve every single time we peer review an article. When we expose authors to that powerful crucible of peer review through this collaborative approach, we can work on taking this uncut gem, this original germ of an article, and transform it into something that's going to be truly impactful for their community. And if during that process we not only improve the article, but the author themselves comes out a better researcher, I mean, what more can we ask for to drive science forward? And to this, I say thank you to you all. And how is this achieved? Again, this is achieved by ongoing collaboration, ensuring the quality of the articles that enter peer review, that the small, dangerous volume of malicious articles are kept at bay, and we do not overwhelm our editors with articles that are below our editorial standards, that we keep investing in industry-leading technology and have a robust and committed team that has your back. This means that authors with valid research can clarify the quality of their articles through your guiding hand. We're going to continue to endeavor to have your back, to ensure that we take care of the bad and provide you the tools to make sure that you can take a good article and make it great. Because that's how we can ensure scientific excellence at scale. Thank you very much, everyone.